I want to do another chapter of Thich Nhat Hanh's Miracle of Mindfulness. Um, the previous chapter before this one, I don't want to do because it basically tells you how you should meditate. Basically, telling you to sit in the lotus position, and it gives you all the things to meditate, which I'm not going to show for you. I've shown you things I probably should not have done before. I've shown you like things like how you should lie on your back and um, be conscious of your thoughts, be conscious of your breath, and just sort of relax there. I think trying to meditate for you on camera would be going a little bit too far. It's not something. It's something I've tried before, um, which is a very good thing. And if you really want to get into this, you should get this book. Heck, um, you can. I don't know. You should buy it. I'll sell it to you when I'm done with it. But I don't know. Whatever. It's really good. It's really a good thing here. But what I want to do here is this. This is the fifth chapter. It's called "One is all is one." The five aggregates. And he says, "Let me devote a few lines here to talk about the methods you might use in order to arrive at a liberation from your views, to obtain a fearlessness and great compassion. These are the contemplations on interdependence, impermanency, and compassion." And he talks about five dharmas. Now, every object of the mind is itself mind. That's a very idealist statement right there. Now, he's saying that just basically whatever you're thinking about, whenever you're angry about something. He's doing a little bit of he probably doesn't know it, but he might not know it, but he's doing a little bit of phenomenological intentionality there, because he's saying consciousness is conscious of something, stuff like that. If you're angry out of something. You're seeing something. Every object of the mind is itself mind. In Buddhism, we call the object of the mind the dharmas. Dharmas are usually grouped into five categories: one, bodily and physical forms; feelings, perceptions, mental functions, and consciousness. These five categories are called the five aggregates. The fifth category, consciousness, however, contains all of the categories and is the basis of their existence. Another idealist position, I think. Contemplation on interdependence is a deep looking into all the dharmas in order to pierce through into their real nature, in order to see them as a part of the great body of reality, and in order to see the great body of reality is indivisible. It cannot be cut into pieces with separate existences of their own. The first object of contemplation is our own person, or the bodily and physical forms. The assembly of the five of the five aggregates in ourselves. You contemplate right here and now on the five aggregates which make up yourself. You are conscious of the presence of bodily forms, feelings, perception, mental functionings, and consciousness. You observe these objects until you see that each of them has an intimate connection with the world outside yourself. If the world did not exist, then the assembly of the other five aggregates could not exist either. So he's saying that the world does exist, but some idealists do say that also. If you grasp the table's reality, then you see that in the table itself are present all those things which you normally think of as a non-table world. If you took away any of those non-table elements and returned them to their sources, the nails back into the iron ore, and the wood back into the forest, and the carpenter to his parents, the table would no longer exist. A person who looks at the table and can see the universe is a person who can see the way. You meditate on the assembly of the five aggregates and in yourself in the same manner. You meditate on them until you are able to see the presence of the reality of oneness in your own self, and you can see that your own life and the life of the universe are one. If the five aggregates return to their sources, the self no longer exists. Each second the world nourishes the five aggregates. The self is no different from the assembly of the five aggregates themselves. The assembly of these aggregates plays as well a crucial role in the formation, creation, and as well as the destruction of the things in the universe. And then talks about some other things here, but basically I wanted to talk about these 5 aggregates and talk about how we can be one in, being, conscious through the meditation of them. Now again, that is bodily and physical forms. Physical forms of certain things, as well as other bodies, besides yourself and yourself. Feelings, perceptions, mental functionings, and as well as consciousness. Now, and I guess what he's trying to say is that we should, meditate as if you were in a state of oneness with all these things which are in the world, and we are in an intimate relation between ourselves and all these things which exist as the Dharmas, or the five aggregates. And I guess what I want to think about is, this is a step, past idealism. And I'm not, I'm saying I think that phenomenology is a great step past it, but this is a great thing to think about, because instead of just being skeptical of them, we're being one in meditation with all these things that we're engaged with. That's bodily and physical forms, which is all the things that you're seeing, the feelings that you have, the perceptions that you have, mental functionings, and consciousness. And that basically constitutes everything in the world. And I think that we should, looking back on the previous chapters, we should just, sort of dwell in oneness with not only in ourselves, but with the entire world. If we're, conscious of everything within us, and as well as conscious of everything around us, and everything that is around us, then we can be one with all these things in this, state of oneness with ourselves, and, the whole entire sphere of perception and all that stuff. So I think it might be a good idea to try that. Not be, just sort of try and not only be one with yourself and everything that's going on here, but be one with everything that's going on here that you are definitely a part of. You are, as Thich Nhat says, you are in intimate relation with all these things. And I think, with that, you can be conscious in oneness with yourself and everything within yourself, but also with all these things that you are in intimate relation with. So I don't know, that's just something I wanted to think about. In this chapter, he also talks about liberation from suffering. People normally cut reality into compartments, since we are unable to see the interdependence of all phenomena. And to see one in all in one, to break through the great barrier which narrows one's perception of reality. And so he's talking about, a bit of the possibility of what can happen if we are not, doing things correctly. Attachment to the false view of self means belief in the presence of unchanging entities which exist on their own. To break through this false view is to be liberated from every sort of fear, pain, and anxiety. When the Bodhisattva Quan Am, who has been such a source of inspiration on peace of workers in Vietnam, saw into the reality of the 5 aggregates, giving rise to the emptiness of the self, she was liberated from every suffering, pain, and doubt and anger. The same would apply to everyone. We have to strip away all the barriers in order to live as a part of the universal life. A person isn't some private entity traveling unaffected through time and space, is sealed off from the rest of the world by a thick shell, living for 100 or for 100,000 lives, sealed off like that. Not only is living, but it isn't possible. Another great thing. This sort of refutes anti-realism, I think, because you're sort of one with all this stuff, and not being one with all these things is impossible. So, tell me what you think. Do you think this is a good thing to do with these dharmas, or what are your thoughts with this whole meditation thing of Thich Nhat? Now, another book by him I got, it's called The Zen Keys, which I might get into soon.